Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program, the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals for Tuesday, May 26th. It's 7:02 p.m. Gretchen Joy, our keeper of the minutes, is actually doing the minute taking online. Sort of one of the remaining vestiges. Great, thank you, Gretchen. We're going to get started right away, and I'll jump into the two of the applications on this evening won't be going forward this evening. One is a request for withdrawal and the other is a continuance. So we'll do those first and then we'll just jump into the sequence, which will begin with 8 Boardman Street as soon as we take care of the preliminary business first. I'll begin by calling the roll, establishing the quorum, establishing our 5 voting members. To my far right is Caitlin Sullivan, our city planner. To my immediate right is Andy Port, our city planning director. My name is Rob Champetti. I have the privilege of serving as chair, though I think I know most of the folks in this room. To my immediate right is Ken Swanton, our vice chair, Mr. Gregory Bennett, member, Mr. Jared Eigenman, member, and John Harding, the fifth, our associate member of CBA. I think we are absent, Larry. Correct. So our 5 voting members will be the 5 whom you see. No big surprise. There's no trick questions here, but all 5 of us will be the 5 legal voting members. It seems like everyone in this room may well be familiar with the process. In order for the application to be successful, 4 out of the 5 voting members must vote in the affirmative. That is required in order for the motion to pass and the application, whichever application to be approved. So with that, we'll go into calling the roll, establishing our quorum, and then get right into our we have a minor modification action. We'll go first on 20 Ashland Street, and then we'll take care of the continuance. Actually, we'll do the continuances first, and then we'll go into our minor modification. So calling the roll, the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals. Mr. Swan. Present. Mr. Bennett. Here. Mr. Iger. Here. Mr. Iger. Present. That's 5 present. We have quorum. And now getting into our 2 public hearings, 9 Bromfield Street. This is was a request for a special permit for nonconformities. The applicant has requested a withdrawal without prejudice. Councilor, you wish to be heard?
Yes, please. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. Douglas McShane, representing the applicant. When I last left here, it was a week or so before I could actually talk with my client, who was, I told you, was out of the country. He immediately agreed to a full redesign of the project in accordance with all of our discussions. He's raring to go. We called his architect and told her we needed it quick and fast, and she informed us she was going to be out of the country for 3 weeks, but she'd be happy to help us when she got back. I promised you I would not come back with nothing less than a full redesign project, and so we'd like to withdraw and give us the time to do it right, and I'll bring you back a project that I think you'll see is very much in keeping with what we discussed and what you wanted to see. I apologize for the time and energy we wasted getting this far, but I had to deal with what I had to deal with. But would respectfully ask that we be allowed to withdraw.
Thank you, Attorney DeShanes. These things are our efforts in inches. So it's no waste of time by any means. It's part of the process. All right, the applicant's request to withdraw without prejudice. Do we have any discussion among the members? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the request to withdraw the special permit for nonconformities application without prejudice for 9 Bromfield.
Thank you, Mr. Swan. The motion is made to accept his request to withdraw without prejudice, and seconded by Mr. Igerman. Calling the roll, Mr. Swan.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett. Yes. Mr. Igerman.
Yes.
Mr. Harding.
Yes.
And I vote yes. It's 5 in the affirmative. The ayes have it. Motion carries. We'll
Thank
move
you,
forward.
gentlemen. See you in a few months.
See you next. Thank you. Second on our list is the application of Jason Field, care of Lisa Mead, Talbot Costa. This is the application continued from April 28th, 2026 for 180 High Street. It's a variance request. The applicant requests a continuance to the meeting of June 9th. Is there anyone here who wishes to be heard on the request? Seeing none, I'll just put it to the board. Do we have any comments? And if not, a motion? So, very good. Mr. Hartman's motion, Mr. Swan the second. Calling the roll on the applicant's request to continue to June 9th. Mr. Swan.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Iger.
Yes.
Mr. Hart. Yes. Yes, it's 5 in the affirmative. The ayes have it. 180 High Street. will be heard on June 9th. So now getting back to with those matters concluded, we'll go back to our first matter in the business meeting, which is a request for a minor modification. This is the application of 20 Ashland Street. Mr. Kutcher, you have the floor.
Thank you, members of the board. My name is Brad Kutcher, and I'm here to represent my client, Larry and Patty Stone, 20 Ashland Street. The purchase of the house we built back in 2019 was approved by the board for a special permit for initially Steve Lewis, Newburyport Ventures. We built a detached two-car garage here, and they were now looking to make that an ADU. We submitted a plan, and I think there's some questions, concern about two things. One, the access for the ADU is in the back of the building, not the front, because we have the garage doors in the front. So I propose we put some kind of signage, plastic signage, which show fire and safety that the access to the ADU is around the back. There's also a side entrance to the garage, but that will not be the primary access. So access neighbors will be the back of the garage, and that'll be depicted by signage. Secondly, there was some concern about the type of aesthetics of the cupola and the front of the fox barn door in front. My client is looking to break up this look from the house. He wants to be not just supported, but it's on identity. So after talking to Jennifer, we figured that's it. We can come to the board and get your thoughts on this.
Thank you, Mr. Kutcher. Let's see, it's a minor modification, but since we have a room, does anyone wish to speak in connection with the minor modification request? Seeing no hands, anyone online do we have anyone online?
We'll pass the online, only ones that continue.
That's right. So, seeing no hands, we'll close any public comment, questions from the board on the request.
Just have one question. So the cupola is just decorative.
Any other questions?
We talked to the fire department about the access to that.
I think yes.
Yeah.
As long as it's, yes.
Yes.
I see you submitted, proposed elevations A and B. Which one are you proposing this time? There's a elevation A and then there's B.
Oh, the roof, they do want to get the roofs in. So, I was at which one?
So the
Actually, let me ask if I'm right there. Which one, Larry, you're looking for? There's A and B.
B.
You submitted both elevations. See the roof over the side door?
One,
It's a little longer room.
Any further questions? Any deliberations?
Yeah, just a comment. I mean, we haven't had anyone access or in the rear of ADU, but there's nothing in our code that zoning says anything wrong with that. So I don't see a problem. That's why we asked you about the fire department.
Sure, yeah, right.
As long as they can, as long as they can find someone in an emergency, it's fine.
Any further deliberations?
It's a part of deliberating. I don't see this as a major change. Fire has to call it. This is just a minor modification.
I agree with that, and with Mr. Atkins' comments. Any further deliberations? I think the board has made findings that it is a consistent and coherent minor request for minor change, so its minor modification seems to be reasonable. seems the applicants met the burden of demonstrating any credible responses to questions regarding fire safety and access. Any further deliberations before we close? Closing deliberations, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request minor and approve the request for minor modification to the variance decision for 20.
And maybe we should just put in the motion, the applicant's plans to placard access in the rear. Is that,
Yeah, sure,
is
yeah,
that in the plan?
There'll be some sort of demarcation to show the access is.
Okay. Motion's made,
And it's elevation A.
and that's right, thank you, it's elevation A. Okay, motion's made, determine it to be a minor modification and approve the option A version with placarding for fire safety. Second by Mr. Ackerman, calling the roll, Mr. Swanton.
Yes.
Mr. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mr. Harding.
Yes.
And Rob Champetti, yes. That's 5 in the affirmative. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, moving to our first application that is before us this evening. This is the application of George Hazeltine, 8 Boardman Street. It is a variance to construct a detached accessory structure within the required front yard setback. May we hear from the applicant?
Good evening, members of the board. My name is George Hazeltine. I'm not the applicant in this case. It's my father, George Hazeltine, doing my best to help him walk this through. And so we're here tonight for approval to construct a detached accessory structure within the required front yard setback, requiring a variance located at 8 Boardman Street, my father's residence.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm here before you request a reduction in the required setback of my proposed garage from 25 feet from the public way, reduced to 20 feet. This 5-foot allowance will save 2 significant trees, one a chestnut and a sturdy, uncommon, enormous birch tree. The chestnut tree was a gift and planted with me by one of our town partners, Jimmy Smith, who resided at number 3 Boardman Street. But many years ago, Jimmy resided in my house when it was at the time of honest working. Jimmy is gone now. Gone. And he's remembered by so many as the salt of the earth. Boardman Street is a very old street. House is set to the edge of the sidewalk and the garage place full 25-foot back from the sidewalk. Will not complement the character of this street and remove the 2 sources of greenery. We recently repaved Boardman Street. Many homeowners paid a fee to upgrade the sidewalk of the homes with brick pavers and granite curbing. I, with the retired DPW employee Jimmy Smith, 25 years ago, replaced my sidewalk at my expense with brick pavers and granite curbing. I walked about Ward 3 and took pictures and made notes. The distances from the garage to the sidewalk. None of the driveways conform to the 25-foot. I'm not trying to say, why can't I? You might meet the minimum allowance of 18. As if you don't meet the minimum allowance of 18 feet to ensure no sidewalk is obstructed. But I will ensure this won't be the case with my driveway at a 20-foot to the garage setback. My garage will complement the character and antiquity of Boardman Street with 6/6 windows, white siding with black shutters, and a copper filter with a full seal. I'm retired and a disabled veteran, and hold my garage in place where my neighbors can stop and bring a child's bicycle for repair required. Put a little oil in the chain. I feel I'm a friend to the neighborhood. I always shovel the snow from the snow flow down the sidewalk to the crosswalk on Merrimack Street. I was brought to my attention that my lot coverage needed to be adjusted. This will be removed. Metal shed contain a swimming pool supplies. There is no longer needed. The pool was donated. The only remaining items, shovels and rakes, which will go into the garage.
So as you can see here, this is the site plan showing the proposed garage 20 feet off of the front yard setback. You can see the shed in the rear that's highlighted in red. It'll be removed with an existing shed to remain. Next slide, please. This is the front, all the elevations rather of the proposed garage. You can see the soil grade there. Next slide, please. Another picture of the front elevation. Next slide, please. This is showing the dimensions. Next slide, please. My father, as he mentioned, went around and took pictures and measurements of other garages in the area that do not meet the 25-foot setback. I apologize, it looks like some of the measurements at the bottom got cut off in the scan, but I did make some notation on those. That is 11 Merrill Street, that's 18 feet. Next slide, please. 26 Olive Street, 17 feet. Olive Street is the next street over from Boardman Street. Excuse me, that. 17 Russia Street, 16 feet. 8 Olive Street, 16 feet. It's 21 Strong Street, 21 feet. And 26 Washington, 4 feet. There is, I believe, there should have been a couple letters, but this is one of our reps, Don Shand, who knows my father and sent this and just characterizing what he does mean to the neighborhood and the community. So as you're aware, we are petitioning for a variance. I'm going to do my best to walk you through this via section 6A, dimensional controls to reduce the required front yard accessory setback from 25 to 20 feet. The hardship, being that these are a hardship for a variance, the hardship at 8-10 Boardman Street is unique due to the topography and significant natural features of the lot. As shown in the left elevation of the architectural plans, if you could go to that, Kate, please. The soil grade, left and right. The soil grade slopes up significantly from the street. Strictly adhering to the 25-foot setback would force the garage further into the rising slope, requiring excessive excavation and removal of 2 magnificent trees, a rare enormous birch and a chestnut tree. The chestnut tree holds deep historical value to the property in the town, having been planted with the petitioner by Jimmy Smith, a former town father and DPW employee who once resided in this home. The hardship is owing to circumstances related to the soil conditions, shape, or topography of the land. The topography of this lot is not shared generally by other lots in the R2 district. The fairly aggressive incline and the specific placement of established decades-old trees create a very narrow buildable window. A 5-foot allowance, reducing the setback to 20 feet is the minimum relief necessary to avoid a major topographical disturbance and the destruction of the lot's primary natural assets. The proposed 20-foot setback is consistent with the existing character of Boardman Street. Many existing driveways and structures on the historic street do not meet the 25-foot requirement. At 20 feet, the driveway still provides ample depth to ensure that no sidewalk is ever obstructed by a parked vehicle, maintaining public safety. Furthermore, the petitioner has a long history of investing in the public way, having personally paid to install brick pavers and granite curbing 25 years ago. The garage design itself, featuring lap siding, black shutters, and a copper sailing clipper cupola, is intended to enhance rather than to detract from the antiquity of the neighborhood. Desirable relief may be granted without nullifying or substantially degrading from the intent or purpose of the ordinance. The intent of the setback ordinance is to prevent overcrowding and maintain a uniform streetscape. Because the petitioner is removing an existing metal shed to adjust to the lot coverage, bringing it to a total of 24.9 under the 25-foot maximum, the overall density of the lot is being managed responsibly. Granting this variance allows a disabled veteran to maintain his property and serve his neighbors, providing a space for a small community acts like repairing a neighbor's bicycle while preserving the greenery that the Newburyport master plan seeks to protect. And for this reason, we're asking that you formally grant petition for this variance. Thank you.
I have this other letter too. I don't know.
Well, I'll ask for
Good. Thank you, Mr. Hasteltine. Mr. Hastel, any further details you want to share with us? Room on.
I just presented a matter that for some reason didn't get into the system to be presented tonight, but he is on facing my house. He'd be to the left of me, going up Boardman Street, my neighbor. So he endorsed my project, and then I brought a neighbor with me that which wishes to speak.
Very good. Well, we're going to get to that next. But okay, with that, thank you, gentlemen, very much. And give me a moment. We're going to close presentation and go to public comment. Anyone in the room wish to speak in connection with the application? Sir, you could just give your name and address so that Ms. Joy, who's listening online, can record it for the minutes.
Absolutely. My name's Al Michael at 3 Portman Street, across the street from Jordan's home.
Excuse me just a second. Gretchen, can you hear the gentleman who's speaking right now, or do you want us to ask him to come to the podium?
Yeah, I can't hear very. Yes, please have him come to the podium.
Okay, thank you. Do you mind for a second? This way we can hear you fine. It's just so that they can hear you.
Alan Mikey, 3 Boardman, a neighbor of George's. I couldn't
since we moved in the house, our house 5 years ago, kind of George's house is like good homes and gardens. It's always kept up. It's beautiful. The birch trees are beautiful. He always keeps his property in fantastic shape. It's a great old home. George is a fantastic neighbor. He's always looking to help out whenever he can to all of us. So it's very welcoming, and he's put a lot of pressure on us to try to keep our yard up. So we're in that little bit of a thing. But I would say George is very thoughtful of what he is planning to put in the neighborhood. He's considering all of us. And I think the fact that most of the homes are basically on the sidewalk. I think a difference of 5 feet is really nothing to even cause any issues. And his cars are always parked and leave plenty of free space for people to traverse the site. So I think whatever George is going to present, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be well thought out. He's a very, very good neighbor. Lucky to have him. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those remarks. Anyone else wish to speak in the room in connection with the application? Going once, going twice. Okay, we will close public comment and go to questions from the board. Yes, Mr. Swan.
Question. Can you put a site plan up? Wall up on the area there. I went back the other day and I noticed the big beautiful chestnut tree and a very large birch tree. Which are they? Is it the one just to the left of the garage? Is that the chestnut?
No, it's the one at the rear left corner. That's only about feet from the excavation for the garage. The birch tree is to the right, and actually, roots are actually showing. We're starting to do some test digging to see what we're going to need to.
So the birch tree, if you can move the curtain, is that one of the trees there?
That's the chestnut tree.
Oh, that's the chestnut.
Yeah.
It's such a small little thing. That's a big tree.
It
I
is
was
a big
fooled
tree,
by the
yeah.
drawing. Okay, and then the birch tree is which one?
Is the one to the right, right off the right corner? Yes,
Where she has, okay,
that's an enormous tree.
all right, thank you. That was just my question.
Further question?
For the site plan. Are there two sheds on the property now?
There are the shed that's to the left of the rear of the garage right now. It's not really a shed. It's a structure that was built for my daughters. It's like a little playhouse. You know, it's got some architectural and so forth, and planters in the windows and so forth. The metal shed that's in the rear corner, it's just basically a Home Depot metal shed that you erect and use it. And we had chlorine and so forth, so we erected a building that would be safe for pool supplies. It's no longer needed anymore, so that will be removed.
So you're committing to removing that?
Yes.
I'm just curious, your neighbor's frontage in terms of their garage and their house. Can you comment on that? I know none of the references that you made were on the drive by.
I believe I'm going to be the only house actually on Boardman Street. There was one garage further up under Washington, but they actually turned it into a living space.
I do want to mention that this is a double lot, so this once was a two-family. So he does have a significantly larger lot.
Yeah, it's number 10, number 8.
Sure.
Yeah, my question is actually about the driveway. So the existing driveway, the apron's not changing, it's already there. So the change in that driveway is the blue area, right?
Yes, it's going to be pavers that are going to put it, so that there'll still be, watershed with actually several feet of crushed stone underneath the
Do
pavers.
you think it will actually infiltrate? Will go?
Yeah, we
Because I know those are tricky, they don't always work.
right. We took a lot of concern about watershed and that's a big thing for me is
Okay.
the
And that's on the drawings, the crushed stone.
I don't know if his driveway construction is listed on there, but if there's something that he needs to commit to, certainly add that decision here.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only, I actually, the garage concern me at all. It's just a lot of paving.
I purchased 2 pallets of paper, so. Great expense.
Very good. John, any
I guess one here. Free removal of the cobble walls at the new garage, roughly how much deeper is your driveway?
It's adding, about 5 feet to the garage.
I appreciate your concern about cars not being in the sidewalk, and so I think that that's the.
There was a lady on our street,
Improvement.
there was a lady on our street that actually was in a wheelchair. And it used to bug me that people would encroach, especially with their little stone walls coming out for the flowers and so forth. But make them turn in the streets and get by. Things like that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of wide corner. Any further questions? Close questions for the deliberations. Again, we're deliberating the variance criteria. So we should go through that criteria, make findings if we are so inclined. Who wants to jump in? Mr. Beck, please.
I'll give it a go. Well, granting a variance is on a very rigorous. Board is very stingy when it hands their look at very closely. That's for granting a variance. However, in this situation, the applicant put together a pretty tight application here as it relates to the criteria. So I'm going to try to go through. The first one are the conditions of the lot itself. Is that such that it's unique to this lot? And based upon the testimony here on the lot, the elevation's got ripped up in front and back. And also, topography, which is a valuable part of topography, might be a beautiful tree, which you right there. So you've got that criteria. Strict application would deprive reasonable use of the lot. Well, I think this situation, reasonable use of the lot. Conditions are not resolved. Your actions, you did not the elevation of the property. Although you did plant a tree, we won't hold that one against you. I think that's good as well. Finally, I don't believe this is a privilege, which is inconsistent with the limitations that we place on the property. It's a garage. It's not a special privilege. Just for all those reasons, we met the criteria. And also, the street itself is set that virtually every house has frontage on well within the 25. Not going to intrude in any more, which is another positive factor. So,
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Bennett, for walking through the criteria and articulating the any further deliberations? Yeah, Mr. Swan.
I would just say I concur with Mr. Bennett. No, I would simply add also, this lot is somewhat unique and is almost a double. Usual, which makes this even more possible. And makes it fit in that.
Anything further?
I think we're on the same track. A lot of peculiarities on this lot. Historically, it was 2 lots. Probably was a house that was actually closer to Morgan Street. I don't guarantee. A Also, another thing I want to note is that the variance that was asked for is minimum. We didn't go overboard. Back wall is fairly close to the tree, but the tree will live. And also, on the merits, 20-foot setback, it improves clearance for the sidewalk, like you said. You couldn't hit a spur, but you could hit pretty much anything else. At the size. Yeah, on these facts, especially the slope, I have no problem in this case. We are very stingy. With variances.
John, I think, thank you.
So, and considering the fact that down the line should you be proposing a primary residence would be in deal with the cost. I think he's done a very nice job trying to be respectful of the area and the context into neighbors. I'm going to.
I agree, and I'll also say, I mean, it's a, I think, common note, the topography of Portman Street in general, this lot in particular, which I remember walking up and down back in 1998 when I first met Mr. Hazeltine, and for some reason he hasn't aged, or perhaps maybe just my eyes have. I'm very bitter about that, but it's a pleasure to get to see you this evening. I think this is, all that notwithstanding, this is as Mr. Ackerman pointed out, the most modest of a reasonable request within this paradigm of, I think my colleagues put it, this stingy paradigm of things the type of relief we grant. I think we're just very, this board is very, very rigorous, Mr. Bennett said, thoughtful in evaluating any variance application, and they are granted very rarely. But if ever there was an instance, this or something like this is squarely, I think, in that reasonable. So I certainly can support it as well. And thank you for putting it together so thoughtfully. Any further deliberations? Closing that, we have motion to approve. Mr. Swanton, and a second. Mr. Bennett, motion's made and seconded on the motion to approve the variance application. Calling the roll, Mr. Swanton. Yes. Mr. Bennett.
Yeah.
Mr. Iyer.
Yes.
Mr. Hardy.
Yes.
Rob Champetti, yes. That's 5 in the affirmative. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Good luck. Thank you, members. Thank you. Very good. The next application is the application of Ben Dodge, 6 Auburn Street. This is an application for a special permit for non-conformities. The applicant seeks all necessary permits, permissions, and approvals to demolish a garage and construct a shed in a similar location, maintaining a pre-existing non-conforming side yard. We understand that presenting this evening on behalf of 6 Auburn Street is not Ben Dodge, but if you would just introduce yourself, and it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Christiana Dodge, and I'm Ben's wife. He couldn't be here, but he was hoping to be.
He sent in the big guy.
That's right. So we're here for our application for a special permit for nonconformity. I have a couple of pictures of our existing garage. Today, you can kind of scroll through the pictures to see it. It's at the back part of the property at the end of the driveway. And the goal is to tear down this garage, which isn't very well maintained right now, and to replace it with a smaller shed. The shed will go a little bit further back behind the current garage. So you can see in the kind of dark black box that's shaded. Thank you. Yeah, that's where the new shed is proposed to go. And the goal is to place the shed exactly where the line is on the garage on the south side of the property, which is the current nonconformity. So it's just a couple feet off of our neighbor's fence line. And we've connected with our neighbor, and they're comfortable with this reduction effectively in the covered lot space, reducing the size of the garage to a small shed. The shed will go right next to a tree that we have in the back, and we'll make sure that we can just kind of maintain that tree and we don't cause any harm by putting a shed to it. Otherwise, the goal is to just create more green space, for our family and hopefully it's, kind of a pretty straightforward.
Thank you. We'll close that portion of the hearing and in our limited audience this evening, is there anyone who wishes to speak in connection with the application? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Questions from the board? Anyone?
I have one question.
Sure.
There's two different site plans that were submitted. One that said to ignore the note about the driveway, and then the new one doesn't have that note. Can you just clarify how far that's been?
Yeah, we're still figuring that out. I think probably it will be in line with the end of the house. And it might go a couple feet further back. Past that. So roughly. Yeah, we're replacing the landing with a larger deck, which we're still figuring out the size of, and so we're working through the work required to change that.
Any further questions? Me either, so we'll close questions, go to deliberation. Again, we're deliberating the special permit for non-conforming criteria.
I'll be happy to start. Well, there's the classic two-prong test. Are there any new non-conformities? There are not. So that kicks us back down to, is this substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than what's there now? What's there now is the garage is 363 square feet and this little shed is 128. Much smaller. Set further back opens up a lot more green space. This is not more detrimental to the neighborhood. It's currently there. I can support that.
Good. Any further deliberations? I think Mr. Swanton. I don't have any further, so.
No, it is a really unusually shaped lot. Historic house. So, I mean, it needed to be looked at. Absolutely, this is not substantial more than.
Agreed. Anything further?
I guess I would just add to that the lot gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you go back. So like I get it. Why it has to maintain the type side by side. I just think that should be noted. It's not like this gigantic amount of various very big.
Yeah, agreed.
Maintaining the. Yeah, the same setback on the right side. Is why the shape. Because the lot is moving with it. So. Yeah. I did notice.
Thank you. Any further deliberations? Okay. We'll close deliberations. Do we have a motion? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Swanton. Second. Thank you, Mr. Harding. The motion is made and seconded on the application for a special permit for non-conformities. Calling the roll, Mr. Swanton.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Harding. Yes. 5 in the affirmative. Have it, and the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
hope
you.
you guys get out to enjoy this nice warm evening. Have a good night. Thanks.
We'll vote on that. Okay, our last application this evening is the application of Joe Neep, 5 Murphy Avenue. This is an application for a special permit for nonconformities to construct 2 single-family homes on 1 lot requiring relief from the front yard setback. Mr. Neep, evening.
Hi, Chairman.
Is it Neep?
No. I'm the owner of the property at 5 Murphy Ave. We're here for a special permit for nonconformities. We're asking with regard to a front yard setback. So it's Located in R2 district, there's 17,000 square feet. There's 130 feet of frontage, minimums are 20 feet for a two-family. And the front yard setback for existing structure is the only non-conformity, which is 20 feet or 25 feet. Proposed application is to add an additional single-family structure using the 6C permit process. Planning board's permit requires that you want special permit for 2 residential structures a lot, and so we need a special permit for the non. So these are the existing conditions. I don't know if any of you got a chance to drive by the property at all. It's an old house, it was built in 1947. It was a kid house. It's pretty dilapidated. It's falling apart. We have been to historical, and Steve is not contributing. So I do have a demo room to take down the house, reserved taking it down until the zoning board and the planning board can see the condition of the house. Just some more pictures. As you can see, it's just a single family ranch. Nothing really significant. This is the neighborhood, Norman Ave, Murphy Ave. A lot of those houses were kid houses. A lot of the setbacks are closer than 20 to 25 feet to the drive from the sidewalks. So it's just to point out that it wouldn't be detrimental to the neighborhood. Here is the existing site plan. Provided 3 different site plans so you can see it. So the existing site plan with the 20-foot setback, the existing structure, the garage has been taken down due to unsafe conditions. These are called. Next slide. So here's the site plan with proposed overlay. As you can see, the 2 structures, one on the left, one on the right. Both will maintain setback. And then next slide. So here's the 2 structures after the demo complete. There's a driveway to the right, there's a driveway to the left. We kind of frame the structures so that it looks similar to what the neighborhood is there, one perpendicular, one horizontal to the street, so they wouldn't look the same. And they're both, I would say, smaller houses, 2,000 square feet or less, with a 1 car be attached. And here's the proposed plans. What the streetscape is going to look like. Just again, real stuff. Some more elevations. So the so, and this was without the sort of commission's approval. So a special permit non-conformity finding, the existing structure will contain a non-conformity that predate the current zoning requirements. The proposed project seeks to improve and modernize the property while maintaining the compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood, minimizing impact to the adjacent properties. Yeah, Nard. Do that. I can't see it.
You can come up with it if it's easier. Just
Yeah.
want to be.
Oh, okay.
In reviewing this request, the board should consider whether the proposed alteration is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing non-conforming condition. Based on the plans and supporting materials submitted, believe the project satisfies the standard for several reasons. The proposal does not significantly intensify the existing non-conforming conditions. The project is consistent with the existing residential character of the neighborhood. The improvements represent an upgrade to the property and site condition compared to the existing structure Adequate provisions have been made for drainage, utilities, access, and parking where applicable. The project will not create undue impact related to traffic, noise, density, or public safety. And the design has been developed to work within the constraints of the existing lot while remaining consistent with proposed zoning ordinance.
Very good. Thank you. Anything further?
No.
Very good. All right, we'll close the presentation and go to public comment. Anyone?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hi, Jacqueline Foy. I am the neighbor to, I guess, if you're facing the building to the property to the left, 3 Murphy Avenue. And just here in support of the request for. Thank you. Permission for the non-conforming.
Thank you very much. Seeing no other potential comments, we'll close comment. Questions from the board? Sure.
To also I'm just curious about issue, but I'm just curious why is two homes back.
So to maintain the neighborhood character of one house, at 20 feet, so we taken shots, we did an established setback. The other houses, and pushing it back 25 feet, there's a steep hill on this property that goes up to Boardman Street. So in order to maintain a decent backyard for each property, I'm still going to build some sort of retaining wall out back, but we want to keep as much we want to keep the neighborhood the same, and then move back.
Well, yeah, just following up on that, I went by the other day and I was shocked at how steep that hill is behind you. On that site. These are big lots, right? You have like 0.43 acres, I noticed on the assessors. How many square feet is this lot?
17,000 square feet.
17,000. We're used to seeing much smaller lots. But where does the hill start? I guess my question. About where the deck is.
No, so it's about, I would say roughly 30 feet off the back of the structure, and then it kind of jumps up significantly.
So it's way back.
And when I purchased the property, I was told that that actually used to be an old sand pit there, and I'd actually built the house next door, the 3 Murphy, and it was all sand. So it's all sand back.
So your hill is like sand pit. People were digging, excavating, basically.
I believe that's what it was.
Why it's so steep.
Yeah, she said she used to sit on top of the hill and watch the sand and jump off. And the sand. So it was kind of interesting.
It's all sand. I probably perks really well, but that doesn't really matter. Okay. We see a lot of things where people come in with a house, they even knock them down and keep the same frontage. I've been on this board for 6 years. I've never seen someone break a house. I mean, it's kind of new for us. But I guess that's not a question. I don't have one.
So as part of the 6C process, if you have a lot that's.
Yeah, I get it. It's just this is a rarity for us. I've never seen.
Well,
I'm not arguing with you.
Oh, no, yeah. As part of the, I've been to several of the meetings with the city council discussing the. What?
That was just the minute taker, I think.
Oh, that's you. So as part of the process, we're trying to work with the city's ideas and talking to city council. Those, smaller structures. Massification.
I get it.
So anything further?
Can you just walk us through what the line update letter that was just submitted?
Yes, so,
Looks like the request is.
yep, so, so originally it was 14 and a half feet was the front setback. And we had pushed the house back a foot. After talking to the neighbor and then my surveyors here, we found some more points in the property. And we determined that the line along Murphy Street was angled where we thought it was straight. And the houses are essentially in the same spot, but the lot line changed in the front and now it would be the 20 feet instead of 15 feet. So, it was just because we found some more pins, that weren't readily identifiable. They were kind of buried under some boulders. We traced it back several properties. So that's the change. Other than that, everything had changed. Everything was the same on the side setback. It's just that front line was more.
Food.
Okay, any further reading questions or deliberations? Lost my very questions.
Very question.
Great, I didn't have any questions. Anyone have any further? Closing questions and then going into deliberations, and this is the special permit for non-conformance. Who wants to just go through the quick snapshot of the criteria?
I'll do it quickly. So there's no new conformity created. Personal opinion, based on the evidence, it's not substantially more than anything. As Ken said, it's a little unusual because you're getting two houses in place of one, but the test doesn't say that's a problem. Substantial. This is. Look at the lot, relation of the building to its own lot, in relation to other lots in the neighborhood, relation to other buildings in the neighborhood. I think this meets runs all those tests. I do know this neighborhood because, leading the right hand school. Driven down the street many times. I support this application. I think it meets.
That's great, thank you. Any further deliberations?
I just wanted to ask about the rendering you have. I thought it was perfect. And I'm not sure that's, pretty much.
Very attractive. Okay. To my colleagues, any further deliberations before we close? Closing deliberations, do we have a motion to approve in a second? Thank you, Mr. Ironman on the second.
Oh, wait, yes.
Just there's a tree, there's a tree.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. So the motion, we would ask the motion just contain the condition of the preservation of the tree condition. And I'll make note that there were no signs. Context? I would agree with that. Thank you. Motion again made by Mr. Bennett, seconded by Mr. Igerman.
Do we need to read the whole?
It's saying that proposed.
Yeah.
That's another problem. First step. You know what?
Yes,
All right.
Yeah, and it'll be in the final decision.
All right. Not surprising.
Okay, motion is made by Mr. Bennett, seconded by Mr. Igerman, calling the roll on the motion to approve with the condition regarding the preservation of the existing tree as per the staff report. Mr. Swanton?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Igerman?
Yes.
Mr. Harding? Yes. And I vote yes, that's 5 in the affirmative, the ayes have it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
The application approved. All right, that concludes our public hearings this evening, and we will close public hearings and go to business meeting. Business meeting, we have an amendment before us on Rule 3.3, plan of land and elevations to accompany petition. And Mr. Igerman was kind enough to take first and last pass. Be careful with that.
No, I take last.
First, all right. Well, so we have that before us, and it's, Andy, has planning department gone through that?
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to, we thought it might make sense, to just kind of skip through the salient points. I guess one of the things that we just wanted to make sure that everybody was cognizant of is there's sort of a spectrum between something very rigid and then something that has, some sort of nuance to it. I think we've clearly seen a few examples, over at different points in time where the plans are incoherent or incomplete, a fragment of something, it doesn't show the whole facade, it's a little hard to orient oneself to these kind of things. So clearly we're trying to get to some larger things. There are some situations where, for instance, if we're looking at a base plan, for instance, and if for some reason we notice that a building footprint isn't shown on it, off in a corner somewhere on an adjacent lot, but it's so far, away from the abutting lot line, that it probably wouldn't be an issue. We just have to stop and flag that as an issue as a plan coming in here. You might find something you want, an applicant to add something to the plan, and we always call out those basic things that are always needed: elevation, site plan, all the coherent, information needed. And we have, and I know Caitlin has a number of occasions, we talk to applicants about the typical plans that are expected by the board. So I guess the long and short is that while we agree with, I think, the most part, we're talking about here, we recognize that if we go rigidly by all of this and every other sort of site plan and standard that in various ordinance and regs, there are sometimes little small details that is missed by someone that may actually have no actual bearing on something. And so we were just to recognize that there's that nuance. At the end of the day, I certainly agree with 100% with the notion that a coherent site plan and a coherent site implementation is needed in every instance. Period.
So word by word, it's almost a couple pages worth.
Yeah.
And then just first part, sooner than the first part.
So again, logical, makes sense, right? Plan.
Change it to the.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. And then elevation drawings, yes. Why have plans? Entirety of all sides of the existing building, yes, it may have more. Or less. Any proposed demolition, alteration, and or new construction. Well, why did we get rid of solid lines and, okay, yeah. So I got that from Jennifer. So she was the one who wants solid lines and. So just that.
So again, finding.
Okay. So put that back.
Back to meaning removing the red.
Say with proposed features and solid lines and features, we would remove dashed lines. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. And so we're done so far, so good. Photographs also is on the website. I don't have a problem here. Someone makes a representation, making no changes, that thing shows.
Speaking of player, I take the issue with that one myself because I think it's, enough for the purpose of what you're doing. I'm not hung up over that needing, an elevation for a facade, or absolutely nothing happening with that per se. Definitely, the elevations were.
All right, you okay with this? All right. All right, this, okay, all right. Paragraph.
Basically, they might skip an elevation if we're not changing it.
Yeah. Like what would you do with the?
Use a photo.
Okay, next.
Oh, we need right. Yeah, sorry, Caitlin just pointing out, to the extent that you want to see a comparison of elevation, height, existing versus proposed kind of situation like that. Like something to consider, again.
Well, it says no change.
Right.
Yeah. Wait, go back. Noted to.
Oh, yes, I guess that would be, yeah.
There. That always a change.
Well, wait. If they're demolishing, say it's a four-sided building, it's keeping it. But they are changing one. Would we want drawings of the other three to understand the relationship?
I would agree that at least three of those are involved, right? I mean, generically speaking.
Yeah, do we need a drawing of the fourth wall if they're not tearing down?
I don't necessarily feel like that's gonna have any something there anymore.
I'm happy with those pictures.
Okay.
It's all good enough.
Okay.
A lot of architects probably at that point are.
Okay, that's fine. Wetlands and flood zones, that came from Jennifer on the website.
Yeah, I think that's particularly helpful. I know that we're obviously looking at a lot more frequently than you are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the comment?
My comment was asking whether we should include requiring existing street trees and curbs.
Yeah.
Depending on the application relevant to.
Like we always talk about the sidewalks. In this part, this last application, we were specifically talking the street trees. So
Yeah, I.
But wait a second, I mean, you only have to deal with street trees and stuff, you know, major.
No, they're the existing street trees.
Why make them show the existing street trees if it's just like tiny little thing in the back?
Because if they put it in a driveway and they rip out some street trees, we really want to know that.
You're basically, I mean, not every application, most of them don't have street trees. It's fine.
It might be a little awkward to describe, you know, and you go back
Yeah, no, I hear
to
you.
the situation that we call for, it might be easier to just say in every instance.
Fine.
I would say maybe perhaps just along the frontage, right, because that's the.
Well,
Yeah.
street trees.
Right. They didn't show, you know, the adjacent properties, I wouldn't care.
No, it's just street trees.
Well, if he wants that along the frontage of the property, that's fine.
Yeah, street tree, not a tree tree, street tree.
Well, but he's saying trees for butters.
No, that's not a street tree, not requiring. If they want to do it, they can.
No, all I was saying was that for the plan, purposes of the plan, the survey is preparing a space plan and the engineer is working on that for whatever reason. The plan itself, the part that matters for our streets and trees and sidewalk component is really the frontage along the property. So if they happen to not provide detailed driveway, curb, and everything further down the street, I'm not as concerned. Right along the frontage. So for instance, if they're looking at this one here, it shows that information on the frontage and we don't see driveway curb shown on the lot, you know, to the right and the left or down. Unless they're somehow, you know, very close, and we're looking at my map, we're seeing them very close and it needs to be shown there. We would not, I think, flag that.
I think we're all assuming that.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yes.
I think I added a comment to the section talking about the neighboring properties. So yes, the intent was just.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we have. Everyone already gives a table, but for some reason our rules didn't say it's. Website does, we added that in black. It looks like John wanted also one for the accessory, which makes sense.
I agree with that.
If you always are talking about a shed that's added or something, and then.
Right, we always ask them anyway.
It's always closer than.
So John, are you asking if a guy has like 3 different sheds, the ones, the big ones, you want every single?
No, like this last application there.
Like, what is where?
Like, most of the submission. I guess.
Oh, not every shed.
Like if they're. Structure, it's 6.2 feet. The fact that the side setback is 15 feet, it looks like they're just a number. It looks like there's a.
Then you think we're applicable? Limited to that. That's fine, as long as you're an architect, you read these things, fine, we're able to.
If someone wants to read.
It's good enough. Proposed features, features,
You can.
solid. Yeah, get rid of that, because again, I want to do a Jennifer.
Just a quick question back on black. Proposed features and proposed. Differentiated from existing features?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, we should have it.
I'm just wondering whether an existing feature should say something along the lines of be retained or something like that. They're all existing, or I guess. Recognizing that something.
I think it's fine. So just get rid of everything from add the word feature. Any comments on the rest of them? These are all off the website.
In number 5, or else really can refer.
Prove it into a plot?
Yeah, they're not keep this the next.
Yeah, no, I have something on this. I have something on this, which is I was gonna make a suggestion, but then I read Jennifer's note about don't go to blue or some other color.
Yeah.
So I think living area is something we should be asking. We almost always existing and proposed. So if you're making a list of additional things you want.
I agree with you. I mean, we do, I'd say 80% need it, not all the time.
But it's,
You might as well put it in the rules.
it's not that hard to provide.
We can read it.
It's come up frequently enough.
It's almost all the. So it's, I gave you some wording in what I sent out, but I would just say living area square feet should be shown for existing and proposed. And I think it belongs somewhere
Somewhere in there.
in there.
I'm fine with that.
But I sent that wording in.
Okay, I'm the one who cut the word where it says me because I'm trying to prevent a situation where staff, oh, if someone says, hey, you should waive it, ask us.
Yeah, can I just talk that briefly? I'm sorry, I definitely want to, if we have, but, on this particular point where it becomes, staff review, complete application, then for, making that distinction there, we were having discussion. It's something all I see that as we're pointing out here, staff, this is the backstop regulation. These are the basic requirements before the board has something that's right for review. And it's not reasonable to expect the board the clock to start ticking and the board to have that application until there's the basic information needed for the board to evaluate there. So we were having this discussion because in my view, that means if someone wants this piece here, they need to get that first before they go to the board. It's not, they file an OpenGov and they ask for this to be waived. It goes to the board and we start the hearing process where it says, we want to have a continuance from here because we're missing this information. To me, this is based on this parallel discussion to some degree where the planning board does a completeness vote on their site plan applications. The way and this is something we wanted to touch base on one or the other. I view this one as being already preemptively come to you and it said on a general business matter, I'd like to ask for a waiver of this piece here. How can we write this application to you and say, hey, they've asked for a waiver of this thing, but we, the office, have routed this and then started the process for the hearing, given you this yet, and they haven't yet got the waiver to you as well.
Well, there are a couple of ways you can do it. First of all, I really don't want to bend on this more extensively because I just think it's mischievous.
And I'm not suggesting that. No, I'm not suggesting that at all.
Okay,
yeah.
So I might keep that. So the question is procedurally, the planning board has a completeness finding. So someone comes in for an application, they have a completeness, that they just do that first.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
We could do that.
Right.
But we don't have to. These are our rules. We can write it any way we want. We can do it as a business site. Doesn't matter to me. You have to have public testimony on the completeness of an application. It seems like overkill.
No. I'm not suggesting completeness mode. What I'm saying is if the office is getting an application, everybody checks these boxes, it goes to the board, it's a hearing process that starts, right? That's a complete application. For someone who misses something on this or doesn't want to do it for whatever, doesn't think they can do it or he doesn't want to do it, and they say, I would like to waive
Why
that.
don't you just, let's do it this way. So again, trying to be practical. Somebody submits an application.
Yeah.
They come to you and they say, okay, well, can I get my hearing date?
Right.
You say, wait a second, you didn't give me the existing proposed parking space.
Exactly.
Including dimensions. Do you want to waive that? Because if you do, I got to go to the next board meeting and ask them. And we just have it on the agenda. You say, this guy wants to waive this.
Exactly. My point with that is just because we were having some debate about this in the office, I don't think it's reasonable for an applicant to feel that they're entitled to the start of a hearing process before the board. Unless that question has been
It's not a
answered.
complete application.
I raised that mainly because it's come up. And that concern was raised there, and I had the same sort of impression that in the effect that the better option in that scenario is the applicant can come to you and ask for the waiver before they think they have a complete application, rather than thinking they have a complete one.
We meet every
and the
2
clock is
weeks.
ticking.
We're not the city council. We're pretty accessible.
Yeah.
It's also just, it's really inefficient to have them come before us, only for us to formally say, it's not complete and reject a request for waiver. And then basically all but invite okay, then let me go back and revisit it and come back to you guys. Right. Time it comes to us to be formalized and we right. Right.
You'll be wasting less time. I think more people just to hear the regs in the first place by giving you everything that you need.
But I think
Because it'll just get reused as the rules.
But Andy, I think to Jared's point in terms of mechanics and expediency, it doesn't have to, I mean, we don't have to overly formalize this. And I don't think the applicant needs to come here. You can simply, like our planning director can bring, and by putting it on our agenda, as a business item, we can address the request, which can then be carried back to the applicant.
Exactly.
Create completeness or create something else.
Testimony is.
Yeah.
Very quick.
That's not really formal, it's just that will be bound down the procedure.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be a de facto here, someone will come here, stand at the podium and present their pitch for.
Yeah.
Just one clarification. I want to say that upon written request by the board, maybe. Yeah, just so it should be in writing, it should should know clearly what to ask.
It could be an email with.
Yeah.
It has to be signed.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is it'd be nice if understand, we can put an extra sentence, but understand the application is not complete unless you provide these things, or if a waiver has previously been granted, by, otherwise they can't be arguing with staff that they're entitled to go to the board.
Applicants are not grasping that.
Yeah.
And you're right, board records, they need to go in there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they click for me.
Jared did say. The planning department.
Put in the extra language that you guys need, so that it's crystal clear. Someone says, I don't want to give you, the dimensions of what you're.
Yeah.
Say, that's fine.
Yeah.
Your application is not complete.
Exactly.
Write an email to the board.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All right, good. So next time on.
I have one other, I don't know if it belongs here. But one thing that really bugs me, when I prepare everything and read everything and I get to this meeting, and people come in with something different. Yeah, well, we get a chance to see, and I'm a board, the public didn't have a chance to see it either.
We tell applicants, and we always have them basically a weekend beforehand, because that's also right before the weekend, right? When we're setting up.
That's obviously not happening.
Well, I guess there's two things that I would point out that. One is we definitely tell applicants, and we anticipate them.
I'm sure they get it to you, but they make changes, is my thing.
I understand that. What I'm saying, I guess, is we can't necessarily, we can tell applicants it's not going to work, it's going to be an issue, like it, et cetera. But we can't stop people from themselves directly uploading something as an applicant whenever they're ready to do that. We can tell them, and we can reinforce.
But you simply propose a rule. Anything that is uploaded after noon on the day of the hearing doesn't get to go on the wall. That's very simple. What if it's correct? I have to say to you now, if the five of us unanimously agree that we can break our rule.
I think there's always going to be that safety valve to make an exception.
I agree, we need a safety.
So I don't want to be bound by the rule that says we can't if we feel like we could.
Well, no, I think part of it should be very clear.
The onus is on.
Except for what I have is applicants may only present materials at a hearing submitted to the city before 12 noon on the hearing day. This includes change plans and presentations. Any exception to this rule require unanimous vote of the board to enable that late items be shown.
We want to say unanimous though, yeah, because we depart from that.
I'm just saying, because things also change like during the hearing too. You're shucking and jiving. Someone says, hey, can you narrow the sign?
Well, but I don't object to that. I object to people showing
No,
up
I know, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to
with a
figure out.
different plan that was reviewed. That's the
Gotcha. I would agree with the majority, vote.
Okay, so rather than, a simple majority.
Just wanted to know, it's up to you what your reg is, right? We basically pass along that, what the regs say, but, we do have some applicants, the usual folks who are before us, who will give their slide presentations, oftentimes, consisting of information that's already in the application package, but those slide presentations are often coming in the day or the afternoon of the meeting, so if you want to make any distinction.
I don't care if the presentation is made up of exactly the same stuff. My issue is when they come up with new stuff at the last second, and nobody has a chance to see.
Yeah, and again, I think we're on the same page. We definitely hold that line and explain that to folks. we may just all encounter, depending on what happens, when they've uploaded something, all right, that's when we all pause, we say, this is after the deadline, it's new information, right?
I think if you had this phrase in there, they'd be more motivated.
Agreed.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff rolls in at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I think they'd be motivated to get it in by noon.
Yeah, I've had the conservation commission meetings where we've had them literally send us stuff during the meeting and then expect us to pull stuff up. No, that's not reasonable.
When I was a selectman, I wasn't there the day before. It was off the agenda. That's simple.
Okay. Well, 12 noon is pretty good with that.
Anyway, that's my suggestion.
Anything?
No, one more.
Or you're gonna take all these things and put a clean one out and water it next time.
Yeah, just have to.
Kara, thank you for, I mean, I didn't, quite frankly, I did 6 years, I didn't even realize these policies existed. I thought they just sort of did it.
Well, I don't think applicants are reading. It's okay if we don't. Read. It's okay that they're not.
Well, I understand, but now to actually have this, well, I think it'll help the applicant. People come in with,
It'll help the expectation.
yeah.
All right. And, anything further here? All right, I think, thank you everyone for the time and effort to get this refined, and Jared, thanks for taking the initial lead. All right, so, going to our approval of the minutes, we have the minutes of 5:12. Any comments, changes, revisions? We have a motion to approve. Made and seconded, motion's made by Mr. Swanton, seconded by Mr. Ackerman. This is just a voice vote. All those in favor?
Yes, aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? No votes? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Thank you, Gretchen. I think as far as updates are concerned, we've already discussed the biggest one, which is the revision of 3.3. So I don't have to.
Oh, no, so I'm just gonna mention tomorrow night, I know Ken might be going, but tomorrow night is the first of 6 workshops the city council is doing on.
Oh, yeah.
As I mentioned, I think you went here, but
I have to go to the high school.
Ah.
But
It should be on Zoom as well.
And then I have a meeting with the family and then, so how long does the thing run?
It's probably gonna be longer than that, and it should be recorded on Zoom, so if we miss anything, you should do a catch up on that piece of it, but
I can
it's
do
probably gonna be still going at City Hall.
That's it.
Yeah.
The,
Chamber.
council,
Yeah.
do we have some formal role other than, like observers?
No, they do have for this first meeting, the expectation is at least there's a few from sort of the development community who are sort of quote unquote at the table, so to speak, at least a little bit more involved in just sort of general public comments, to have some dialogue about how these things might affect the economics, profitability, economics,
Right.
feasibility.
And, I mean, so I do plan on attending the second, which is on the dimension things.
Yeah.
But, so, when one of us goes to one of these things, will we have the opportunity to provide input?
You do, it sounds like more like as an individual, because we're able to take a vote on anything, to save the body, we vote.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, there's a liaison from the board. I mean, isn't the whole point? I mean, if we're just there, like, the hard carrying members of the public, like, too many people, you know what I mean? Like, what?
Oh, yeah, I'm just recognizing, I don't know whether you have a debate later on about whether you agree with something, I don't know what.
I think we should, I'm happy to agree with, like, go there.
Whatever works for the board.
We have to at least some comfort with, and forgive maybe the indulgence, but I believe that the collective of us has to have some baseline of comfort to be able to empower one of us to speak for all of us at very just high level sense and sensibility. Come on with this.
I agree. I think all of us are qualified to tell them how the world really works. You don't see.
What I don't want is for us to just simply be, there with, with the imprimatur of just being like, super, silver star special members of the card carrying public. I think the whole point of it is to speak with some sense of, I won't say gravitas, but just some sense of informed authority with respect to the things that we specifically do.
I did attend the last one when the couple of stuff hit the fan, and they were highly respectful. I'm sure they were not treating me like it. But I think that if you go, and it's one of us, perhaps, but generally speaking, when you go, if you go, and say when you go, you have certainly my support to speak on behalf of the appeals.
not just speak on behalf of Ken Swan, you know, though that's included as a member of the zoning board of appeals. Like, you know, I think that it's
I
important.
concur with that thought, that any of us could do that.
Yeah, no, I want you, I want, yeah, I think we all should. So this way they understand that this is a voice coming from this body. It's informal, but advisory.
This is the board that most likely be dealing with most of the pieces that are getting.
So, yeah, we should all the balls and strings.
We do, yeah. Are you, I mean, I'm sure you're working.
Yeah,
I just want you to,
I just want to assure you that I thought, I kind of assumed it.
yeah, but I think it's important to say it because there'll all be other people in the room, members of the public too. And so it carries sort of, you know, a coordinated sensibility to the board speaking. Great. Anything further? Motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Richard, thank you, and have a great night, you guys.
Night.
Good night.
Thanks, Rob.
Good night.